Talk about your relationship with Abdullah the Butcher. We didn't really talk about Abby, but you've known him forever.
Yeah. The first time I met Abby was in '76, I guess.
Oh wow.
And we were in Japan together. And nobody on the tour except Curtis Ayukea liked Abby. And I didn't get it at first. I was so green. I'm just like looking at everybody like I'm here with the stars. I was just little Larry No Fuck. And, I'm here with all these guys, Curtis Ayukea, Abdullah the Butcher, this guy, that guy. And I'm like, oh my God, they don't have a nice word to say about this guy. Well, the very first night in town, I'm making $1,000 a week, okay? Which was great money for me. I see Abby, and we go up to the top, the revolving restaurant or whatever it was in the hotel. It was a 4-star place. And we're up there, and I pick up the tab, okay? And the next day, Abby picks up the tab, and he picked up the tab almost every day for the next 6 weeks. And he goes, you're the first guy that ever picked up a tab from me. And I was talking to Curtis about it, and Curtis told me, he goes, you stick with Abby, you'll be fine. Because Abby liked to go out at nights, but Abby's illiterate, okay? He's not really, I don't want to, maybe that was a little too, but he's very limited for his education, okay? And so, but we're in Japan now. Neither one of us can fucking read, so it don't make any difference. Right. We're just getting the cab and go, And we hung out together and made a friendship. And he goes, nobody ever picked up a tab me before. Well, the last night there when we got paid, he says, champ, he goes, you know how much I made here this? I'm like, no. He goes, I get $10,000 a week. And I was getting $1,000 a week, and I picked up his tab. But to him, that meant so much. And after that, we kind of developed a relationship. And because when we got over there and we were like going out at nights and having fun, he was the nigger, he was this, he was that, and I don't listen to that shit. I judge somebody for like that. And the more they said it, the more it made me want to have fun with Abdullah, because there's Larry Lane and the Beast fighting in the morning over breakfast because they're so fucking miserable that they're trying to make $300 last for 6 weeks. And I'm out like, man, where's the prawns? Where's this? Where's that? With Abby. And they're just made yourself miserable.
Do you still have a good relationship with Abby to this day, or is there heat there?
I wouldn't say there's heat there, but there's probably a little strain on it.
What happened there?
I honestly don't remember. And if you heard something, tell me.
No,
because
I just heard there was heat, but I don't know why.
No, I think if I called him up, I can't call him up and use him, and I think that hurts his feelings.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm running shows, and I used to pick up the phone and say, come on, Butch, let's go. I need you.
Right.
And but now at his age, I can't do that. But he does the greatest stuff, like when they had WrestleMania in Atlanta. I don't know if you're
setting up in the lobby.
Yeah, was that the greatest fucking thing you ever seen in your life?
It's awesome.
I know.
So I think they told him to leave too.
Yeah. Like, you got to pick your shit up. He set up right in the lobby of the hotel.
What are your thoughts on his hepatitis scare?
It's not good. Guys got to be careful.
Yeah.
Guys got to be careful. And in Puerto Rico, I juiced a lot. In Hawaii, I juiced a little bit. In Japan, I juiced a lot. Not too much up here, but you can't do that stuff anymore.
Totally different.
The way it is, yeah.
Totally different business. Do you ever feel slighted that you've trained so many guys, past and present, in the WWE, and you've never really been contacted to do some on the camera work or anything behind the scenes? Like, a lot of the guys from your time are there as road agents or whatnot.
Every day. I feel slighted every day.
Did you ever call the office and not beg for a job and say, hey, look,
I wouldn't do that.
Too much pride? Too
much pride, yeah. And I believe that it started years ago because like Pat Patterson said to me one time, he goes, I can't believe what you've done with just a wrestling school. And I think they're fucking scared.
You've been in business forever.
They don't think I can be a team player because I always stood up for myself. Years ago, Jack and I were going to start in Puerto Rico on a Sunday. It's Saturday night in New Haven, Connecticut. So during the week, I had asked Monsoon, I'm like, do you mind if me and Jack go on first so I can get a couple hour jump going home, wash my clothes, spend a couple hours with my wife before I have to catch an 8 o'clock flight to go to Puerto Rico? He goes, not at all. So Jack and I are just, we're getting ready, and Brisco and Greer's in the locker room. I'm like, come on, guys, you got to get ready. We're on first. He's like, no, we're on last. I says, no, that's what it says. But Gino said, we're going to be on first. He's like, no, we're on last. So I went and asked Vince. I'm like, Vince, aren't we on first? He goes, no, you're on last. I said, well, I asked Gino, because I'm going to Puerto Rico and this and that. And his answer to me was, you should have asked the boss. So took off my boots, fucking threw them in my bag, and I left through the crowd. And Jack went with me.
Oh, wow.
Never got hired back.
So that's heat, I guess.
I guess. Heat or stupidity on my part, one or the other.
So I was going to ask you if you still had a relationship with the office, but that pretty much just answered my question.
Well, I mean, there's been a changing of the guard.
Right.
They've actually sent people here to scout guys. You know what I'm saying?
I was going to ask you
no matter how much they hate me, they need good wrestlers, and guess what? The Monster Factory has them.
100%. Gerald Brisco was just here recently, and he was scouting talent here. How was that? Talk about that as far as like a...
Well, number one, I hadn't seen Jerry for years. It's been like 40 years since I seen him in Florida. And, I knew he had the job up there. But for them to send him down definitely spoke volumes. But like I said, I don't think Hunter has any animosity against me or the Monster Factory. He probably don't even know about it. You know what I'm saying? And Vince is probably senile enough that he fucking forgot about it.
Right.
But as long as they can get talent, they're going to be fine.
Did he see any talent when he was down here? As far as
absolutely.
Okay. I need a paper again, actually. Do you see the WWE Performance Center as competition at all?
No.
Okay. What do you feel that should, qualify someone to be a trainer in this business?
A solid background of the basics. And I just want to go back to seeing them as competition for a second.
Right.
If you do you know anything about drag racing at all?
Not really, but.
Okay, well, there's these things called a rail. And they got engines in them. They're like 700 horsepower, and they got wheels way out front. They go a quarter mile in like 3 seconds, okay? And then there's a jalopy over here, okay? He's a drag racer too.
Right.
But by the time the light changes, the other guy's already done. Well, that's a WWE. Okay, so I wouldn't consider that car competition. What I would consider competition is other people that try to open up wrestling schools. Okay, that down there, what they're doing in Florida is something they should have done a long time ago. Wish they would have called me up and said, Larry, can you be a hand down here? Because I know I could, but they didn't do that. So is that going to crush my world? Absolutely not. Monster Factory will keep going forward.
Gotcha. Do you think pro wrestling should be unionized?
Yes.
Okay. Why is that?
Well, just because it's so easy to take advantage of people when you've got no place else to go. There's no other wrestling company to go to. I mean, I've seen wrestlers get hurt and have to wrestle hurt because if you ask for the day off, they'll say, well, why don't you take 3 or 4 months off?
Yeah.
Because there's always another guy that wants that job anyway. So they're not going to have any problems filling that spot.
What is your opinion on the business being?
And I just let me expound on that a little bit. You need to be qualified. In my opinion, every state should have an athletic commission. And if you want to be a professional wrestler, you should have to come to a place similar to this and get in a ring with a guy that's established and a guy like Dan or I sit there and say, show me a step over toe hold. Show me a reverse wrist lock. Show me a headlock. Okay, reverse the headlock. Show me a step over toe hold. Okay, and when you can do that, then you should be allowed to have a match. But there's guys that get in the ring that don't know what the fuck they're doing, that are hurting each other, and it's amazing.
It's crazy business these days, to be honest with you.
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.